Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. So days have gone by, and we still do not know where Emmanuel Haro is. We know that both his parents, Jake and Rebecca, who you see in that mugshot on this thumbnail, and here's even a better mugshot, they're in jail right now. In fact, they were supposed to be going to a hearing. But one of the things about this case, as all the facts and circumstances come out, Jake Haro may have approached the police through his attorney, saying he could show them where the body was. But guess what? They haven't recovered his body yet. And some of the little mysteries around this also are that the family members hadn't seen little Emmanuel in over a month before these last 10 days. So we're talking 40 plus days. So could baby Emmanuel have been murdered 40 days ago? The body could be anywhere. And so these two really are playing the police. They're not giving truthful answers. The story that Rebecca told about the kidnapping, absolutely ridiculous. You know, her demeanor, the way she told the story, there's no truth to it. The black eye, her right eye, black eye, someone punched her in the eye. It wasn't during the kidnapping. That never happened, right? So both Rebecca and Jake Haro are arrested. They're under arrest right now. And I don't see them getting out, because even if they never recover Emmanuel's little body, these two can be charged with murder based on circumstantial evidence. I saw some YouTuber that's about as astute as they come, a content creator, saying, "No body, no case." No, that's not true, dopey. I won't identify him. But where'd you get that from? The YouTube school of thought? Because it's not true. Many, many homicide cases are successfully prosecuted without the body being recovered. And in this case, they have a strong case even without recovering the body. Would it be better if they did recover the body? 100%. So folks, hold on to your hats, hold on to your loved ones, hold on to your service dog, your cup of coffee, your thoughts. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off the cuff zone, the police off the cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
And now a word from our sponsor. FanDuel is the new sponsor for the Police Off the Cuff podcast on the Believe Network. And on Tuesday, August 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on your football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race. Who's your pick for MVP of the NFL? Crown your champion in August. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Or parlay your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 years old and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblingline.ma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE New Yorker. Text Hope, New York in New York. So today, joining me on this show is crowd favorite, fan favorite. Welcome to the show, retired NYPD Sergeant, professor at Albertus Magnus College in Connecticut, attorney Mike Geary. Welcome, Mike.
Bill, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on. Good to see you.
You know, Mike, this case is so sad, and many content creators have been covering this. And there was a lot of hope when you see Jake Haro up there on this mugshot picture with his wife, Rebecca, went to the police and said he would show them where the body was. And they went out along the highway and they searched. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that that's just misdirection. He had no intention of showing them where the body was. And they still have not recovered little Emmanuel. So where to right now, Mike? Apparently they were in a hearing in court. I saw some YouTubers also saying, oh, they're going to be released. No, they're not going to be released.
No.
There's a strong circumstantial case against the both of them, even without the recovery of little Emmanuel. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Bill, nobody's going to release them. Hopefully common sense will prevail and they'll stay. We do have a circumstantial evidence case against the two of them for conspiracy to commit the homicide and cover it up. So that's that. Jake probably isn't the brightest bulb. So therefore, and he may have, and he and Rebecca may have disposed of poor Emmanuel over a month ago. And so you're talking a month ago in some deserted location, in some hills, on some trackless road. He may not even remember where he put the body of poor Emmanuel. He may have actually buried the body or left it under a bush or something like that. But even if he could possibly remember exactly where it was, and I doubt that body may have been scavenged. And so, by animals. So it is strange that within like 48 hours of being arrested, he's out there in his orange jumpsuit while she stays behind bars. And he's the one who's going out there telling you, I think I know where the body is. I'm not sure if it's misdirection, because if it is misdirection and the prosecutor thinks it's misdirection, they're going to be a lot less eager to deal with him and say, look, maybe we're not even going to make you any sort of plea offer. But if he's dumb enough with his attorney to try to do some sort of misdirection, shame on him.
Mike, there's no doubt that you see on the screen, Jake Haro and his wife, Rebecca, he's as dumb as a tree stump.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could just see the lights are on. There's no one home up in that brain, if he has a brain. It reminds me of young Frankenstein. He has the abnormal brain, he's abnormal. But, where did he get the advice? What attorney gave him the advice to go help the police search for the body of his young? And what did he tell them? Like, what attorney would tell his client to say, go tell the police what you did and show them where the body is? Like, how did that happen, Mike?
It is strange. And I was thinking about this the other day on the previous show. It is possible that with the poor Emmanuel, probably at this point, very, very decomposed, it may be very difficult to figure out a cause of death. And he may, in his own way, with his own attorney's ideas, looking to blame, Rebecca and say she's out of control. She hurt the baby. She killed Emmanuel, and I have to cover up what she did because I don't want to lose my wife. I have a bad enough track record. Maybe his attorney is trying to get a deal for the client by having him give her up. It's a twisted tale. We don't know, but that's the only really weird way I think that his defense attorney would so quickly, turn the tables and say, look, I'll show you where the baby is, because maybe he's afraid, his attorney may be afraid that if he waits, if she knows where the body is, she'll give him up and show the police where the body is and blame him. I don't know about their relationship, but that's the only weird way I think that an defense attorney would say, "Let's do this right now, quickly, get them the body so that you can do a deal."
But you know something, Mike? She's staying with her story.
She
She's
is.
staying with the kidnapping story, and that's already been refuted. But she's staying with it, so she's going to be dumber, even dumber than he is.
Right.
This is Brian Enton, and they're going to, about the what they're calling the fruitless search that occurred for the body of young Emmanuel
In
Haro.
her interview, Rebecca Haro called Jake a good dad and said he would never hurt a baby. There's her new mugshot, by the way. A lot of people zeroing in on both of those black eyes. And also, how strange that she's still talking from jail. She talked to the media before. Everyone was suspicious of her. Now she's talking to reporters from the jail, trying to stand up for her husband. As we've reported, he was convicted in 2023 of an act of willful child cruelty 5 years earlier. It's an awful case. The victim was even younger than Emmanuel, just 10 weeks old, who suffered permanent brain damage. Jake and Rebecca also have a 2-year-old daughter who is now in the care of Child Protective Services. Every single day, it seems like this case just gets more and more disturbing. My News Nation colleague, Nancy Liu, joins me live from outside that couple's.
I just wanted to say, I believe that the 2-year-old child that they just removed when she was born had fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yes, that's the one.
And that was obviously from Rebecca. And so neither one of these people are what you would say are good people. They got some real problems. They got some real issues. And she's saying from jail, first of all, which is a no-no to be interviewed without your attorney giving you permission. She's saying that he's a good father, he would never hurt a child. Meanwhile, he has the history of hurting a child. So just absolutely ridiculous. Let me go back to Brian Enton here.
Home just outside Palm Springs. Nancy, they brought the dad out to search this weekend in the jail jumpsuit, and still nothing. No sign of baby Emmanuel.
Yeah, remarkable developments in this case, Brian, but the bottom line is, where is baby Emmanuel? We are outside the Haro family home. This is in Cabazon, which is about 15 miles west of Palm Springs. We can tell you this house is deserted. Obviously, mom and dad, they are now in jail. The 2-year-old child is now in custody of Child Protective Services. And we understand that Jake's elderly mother is now staying somewhere else. I've been poking around this neighborhood, talking with people who live around here. They don't know this family. And the one woman said, she's only seen the mom one time in 4 years. But on this side, Brian, I want to show you the memorial that is just growing and growing. It's about 20 yards wide. You and I, we've covered a lot of tragedy, and this memorial, it is significant. So many signs, asking for justice for baby Emmanuel. Where is baby Emmanuel? This is obviously a case which has touched so many throughout the region. So many people had believed that initial story of the baby being kidnapped. Just a horrible story. The mom with the black eye claiming that, she was changing the baby's diaper. And when she came to, the baby was gone. And of course, now the sheriff's department saying this is a case of murder. However, there is no body despite an extensive search for remains, Brian.
And there were also no tears, Nancy. You remember when she would go out, the mom and
Mike, no one believed what.
No.
So, I mean, I like this reporter, but no one believed her story. Her story was ridiculous. Her acting job was class D. It was horrible. Everyone wants to know, why does she have 2 black eyes? What's that about? And right away, when you see 2 black eyes, what do you think? You're thinking of the guy on the left gave them to her.
That's right.
That he's not only is he a child abuser, but he's a wife abuser too. And So this whole story stinks. And the big problem is when the family is interviewed, they say they haven't seen the child in over a month, which gives these two potential murderers, because that's probably what they're going to be charged with, gives these two zero credibility at all and all the time in the world to have killed this little baby and to have gotten rid of the body. And if the body was disposed of a month or 40 days ago, then the decomposition will be quite extreme and animal activity if the body was dumped outside. But the fact that Jake Haro, who you see up on the screen in his mugshot, his proud little mugshot there, he's trying to play games and act as if he's helping the police to help search for the body. I find that even more egregious, Mike.
Bill, you just brought up a good point. Maybe he doesn't have any idea what the body is. Maybe she got rid of the body, or maybe he knows where the body is, but he's taken them on a fruitless search because he doesn't want them to actually find the body and maybe perhaps determine through an autopsy the cause of death. And so maybe he just figures it might be better if he looked like he was actually helping. And maybe his attorney will say, look, we'll get a better deal because at least you could say to the police, you tried, you're trying to help. But yeah, it's these two have some issues. Why she would keep to her story when there's actual surveillance video that's really grainy from across the street, which shows her going into the store, the Big Five store, and not being accosted whatsoever. There's also a report that I can't confirm that she was seen washing her car and washing the stroller while she was at the car wash, which would be kind of strange, unless you want to get rid of some sort of blood. But if they find any quantity of poor Emmanuel's blood in that house, under some carpet, on some flooring, on a towel, something like that, because blood can get in between wood fibers, and you think you've cleaned it, and and it's there. If they could find that blood or anything related to how Emmanuel or where Emmanuel may have been killed, that would help with a very, very much with a circumstantial case of murder against them. But she's sticking with her story. At this point, it's really bizarre. Maybe she has some sort of really weird personality issue. If I'm her attorney, I'm telling her every day, keep your mouth shut. Do not speak to anybody. You speak through me.
Mike, it is baffling. We've seen stories like this before, where the parents were charged and their stories were horrific, and the parents went to trial after a year or more. Sincere and Classic, those are the two boys that were killed by their foster parents that time. Never recovered the bodies,
Right.
but they were both tried and both convicted of murder. So just realize this, YouTube true crime audience, that convictions are obtained for murder without the body. So that whoever says that no body, no conviction is missing the point here. Everything about these two, Jake Haro and his wife Rebecca, screams, not yells, screams guilt and screams lies and screams deception. And yet this poor little baby that you see up there, 7 months old, a victim, absolute 100% victim. Let's go back to Brian Enton.
Give those press conferences and she would be crying. But I always look closely in those situations. I always look right at the screen, and there were no tears, which had a lot of people feeling very suspicious from the beginning. And it is so sad. What were you going to say though, Nancy?
Yeah, I was going to point out that there is an interview with the father with a media station in which he talked about baby Emmanuel in the past tense. So there are people who are also making note of that.
Yeah, and again, the father who was once charged with child abuse, and the other child is now nearly brain dead. The whole thing is awful. And I was just thinking, I mean, all those signs behind you, the little stuffed animals, the strollers, really drives home that this is just a baby boy.
Heartbreaking.
Do we know anything more, Nancy? Because I was so perplexed. They brought him out there in the jumpsuit on the side of the freeway where he spent hours like showing detectives around, but then they found nothing. Do we know what he said to police to prompt that?
The sheriff's department is revealing nothing about that search other than it happened and that it's now concluded. But take a look at the video. Take a closer look at how he is acting, because I don't see him pointing or really talking in an animated way. I mean, is he truly helping detectives to find baby? I mean, he's not walking. He's just standing there. He's not pointing at anything. So how helpful was he? Was this just, an outing for him to get out from behind bars for a while? But it remains to be seen, was this a futile excursion for him outside the jail?
Mike, you wonder, what did he tell the police? Did he tell them that, oh, my wife killed the baby? And I think she may have, because I would doubt, knowing what we know right now, that he confessed. Or else if he confessed, they would have found the body. So I'm having a hard time with what this is all about right now, Mike.
Yeah, you're not sure exactly what's in his head, what's in his attorney's head. I would imagine he's done this. I would think he's done this with the attorney's advice to do it, and to do it quickly. And you're right. Maybe he's trying to turn the tables on his wife a little bit and extricate himself from this, because he's already has a record. She doesn't have a previous criminal record, although you've got the baby with fetal alcohol syndrome. He may be trying to extricate himself from this. And as the reporter pointed out, you don't see him pointing. He's not animated. He's not walking, saying, look, follow me. I think this is the path. So he may not know. Maybe in some weird way, he's trying to give her up because maybe she disposed of the baby. Maybe he told her, you will dispose of the baby. And she told him, I disposed of it along the freeway somewhere. We're not sure. You'd like to be a fly on the wall and hear what he's actually saying. And it doesn't look like he's either knows much or that he's, but if he does know much, he's not helping much. He's not really showing him, follow me. I think this is where the path is. Nothing like that. So I think he has to be doing it under attorney's advice. He's not an attractive client if you're a defense attorney, because he already has a previous record for the child assault. He's a really bad client to have. There's no redeeming qualities about him. This is a senseless, brutal death of a young child. So there's no mitigating circumstances whatsoever. So I'm thinking he and his attorney cooked something up.
100%. Folks, FanDuel is the new sponsor of Police Off the Cuff on the Believe Network. Pro football season is starting. Go on FanDuel and you can place your bets. I want to play this from Good Day LA.
This morning of Emmanuel Haro, the search for the missing baby continues as his mother maintains her innocence behind bars.
Mario Ramirez is live in Riverside now, where Emmanuel's parents could make their first court appearance as early as today. Mario.
Jen, Bob, good morning. That's right. We're just outside the courthouse. Emmanuel Haro, at this point in the investigation, authorities are presuming that the 7-month-old is dead. His parents have been named suspects in the case, and they're expected to appear here at this courthouse as early as this afternoon once the DA's office files charges. And while investigators say a kidnapping never happened, as it was initially reported, Emmanuel's mother, Rebecca Haro, is speaking out from jail. She spoke with the Southern California News Group, insisting her child was kidnapped, saying, quote, I want to be out looking for my baby, end quote. She also spoke about her husband from behind bars, saying he's a good dad and he would never hurt a baby. Now, that jailhouse interview on Sunday, the same day Jake Haro was seen in an orange jumpsuit, cuffed with San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies searching for Emmanuel's remains near the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. The body wasn't found, but detectives believe the baby, unfortunately, is dead. Rebecca and Jake Haro arrested at their Cabazon home Friday of last week on suspicion of murder. The story starts August 14th when Rebecca reported her 7-month-old was kidnapped after she was attacked outside a Yucaipa store. Days later, investigators claimed she, along with Emmanuel's father, Jake, had stopped cooperating, adding that there were inconsistencies in their stories. Emmanuel's disappearance leading to an all-out hunt and search for several areas in Yucaipa and Cabazon, including the couple's home. With the latest search efforts in Moreno Valley, both are now facing 1 count of felony murder with malice, according to Riverside County jail records this morning. And once those charges are officially filed, the two are expected to appear in court again as early as this afternoon. Right now, they're being held behind bars without bail as the search continues for 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. For now, live here in Riverside County, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back.
So, Mike, in watching that, people may think, oh, this is a complicated case. No, this case is very simple.
Right.
They have the 2 people that killed this kid. They're right here. All right. Yes, they are innocent until proven guilty. But the mom, Rebecca, made up a kidnapping story. And we know that's not true. And she's sticking by that story. This other moron, Jake Haro, it goes out into a field purportedly to look for the body of his deceased son, and comes up with nothing. So this case is not complicated. It's quite simple. However, the district attorney's office, the San Bernardino police, are going to have to make this case probably without finding the body. Mike, your thoughts?
You're right. You're 100% right. They have to be prepared to acknowledge that if they don't recover the body, that to the judge that they don't have the body. However, it's a circumstantial case. And therefore, part of it is a circumstantial case because you don't have a body. So you'd have to prove that Emmanuel died circumstantially by showing the jury certain facts, which lead them to believe and make an assumption and logically conclude that Emmanuel is dead. There's no other possible, really rational reason for him not being anywhere. We know that they were not seen at the football game that they said they were, so their excuse doesn't hold up. We've got video which doesn't show, it's grainy, but it doesn't show any sort of...
Mike, let me just stop you there for 1 second. She was not seen at the football game with the baby. She was seen at the football game.
I'm sorry, yes.
But the baby was not with her.
Right,
so
the baby wasn't with
that
her.
even makes the kidnapping story even more ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And then when she's questioned, there's inconsistencies. And then she asks for an attorney very quickly. She refuses a lie detector test because at that point, to me, that's consciousness of guilt. The police are looking for your child. And the moment they start asking you questions and going back, say that one more time. We're having trouble with that. It's not really adding up. And she decides, well, I'm not going to speak to you. I don't want to speak to you. You want to do a lie detector? Don't want to do that. I'd like to speak to an attorney. To me, that's all consciousness of guilt because at that point, she's supposed to be a victim of a crime and her son is a victim of a crime. And it's a kidnapping and you got to work quickly. And for her to lawyer up seems rather strange and not speaking and not cooperating with police while your son is still missing. If you are that concerned, why wouldn't you be out there doing everything possible to cooperate with the police? So it's a good circumstantial case.
Absolutely. So, folks, we're going to stay on this case as new developments occur, but we just want everyone to know that this case is going forward with or without the remains of Emmanuel, and it's just a horrific case. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, make comments, share us with your friends and your family. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff on behalf of myself and Professor Mike Geary. Have a great day, everyone. God bless.
One episode just ain't enough.